Okay, here is the next tea I'm tasting. It's Osmanthus Flower and Mei Ren Black Tea Dragon Ball. This is going to be my first Dragon Ball. I'm kind of excited about it. And so I didn't know what to expect when I opened the package, so I cut the top off. And we have, isn't this the cutest little thing? It's an actual little ball. It's supposed to be a single brew. So now I get to unwrap this package. And here is my Dragon Ball. How fun is this? This is like a tissue wrapper that it came in. So it's setting in there. It's kind of artistic fun. Like exploding paper with a ball in the middle. But you can see this is the Osmanthus flower right on the outside of the ball. It's got more of it on one side than the other. This is so cool. I had to get out my camera and take some regular photos of it. So you can see the needle, black needle leaves all rolled in. It's amazing how they get it to be all ball-like. How fun is this? I feel like I need to video what happens to this tea ball as I pour water in. Oh, look at it spin. Immediately some of the flowers come off. Love that the little flowers are in this one, unlike the last one I tasted where they took the flowers out. I think I'm supposed to be pouring this off and not drinking it, but I want to drink it. So I think the second steep it might unfurl some more. I don't like to steep too long. So there's a lot of flowers in the bottom of my basket. I feel like I need to get them back out and put them in the gaiwan so I get the flavoring for the next steep. So here's the color of the liqueur. It's much clearer and lighter than I thought it would be. Okay, here's our second steep. Let's see what happens to the ball. I want to make it spin again. There, a little spin. It's making all the flowers come off. Oops! I overfilled it because I was not watching the level. I was watching what was happening. Not sure how I'm going to get that out of this gaiwan without burning my fingers, but I'm going to watch it. Oh, look how little the flowers are. But you can see them. I love watching what tea does when it brews. It is unfurling a little bit more. Got bubbles. Look at the pretty little flowers. That was silly me. I had to get a little ladle to ladle some of that out. Okay, second brew is a little bit darker color because the leaves unfurled more, so I think I'm going to get a better experience this time in tasting. So here is what the wet leaves look like now that the ball has unfurled. You can see the little flowers. Kind of just, I call it needle, so it is kind of long and thin. This is a great Saturday morning. I'm really enjoying sitting here steeping my tea and playing with my photography. So that just kind of is relaxing, happy time. So here's some of my photos that I took, or well, all the photos I'm going to save. There it is, still in a ball. It's pretty cool, huh? I love this one, how the paper is like exploding out of the ball. And this one has got great detail on the ball and the ripples on the paper, but then it's soft. You can see the, well, for a photographer, things are soft in the distance, and so you can see there's distance where the paper softens from the lens of the camera. That's how you get bokeh. Cool, huh? I love how this is like a action shot. And this one is cropped in really close and kind of off-centered, more artistic. And I turned the ball over so I could get, because I was wanting to get more of what the tea was like and the leaves. I love that I can zoom in and see the details. And we're back to the beginning. So let's go to my tasting notes there. I just dropped some of my photos into my tasting notes. I'm gonna scroll up. So there's the name of the tea. And that's a picture I took with my iPhone. I usually do that to drop them in my notes. And I took the ball out after the first steep and stuck it on my plate because I have to have the traditional photo that I do in all of them. So here is where I was studying to try to learn about the name. And this tea is not in my book. This Mei Ren is not in my book. So Mei Ren means literally Yi, which means minority, beauty. So Mei Ren means beauty. So the tea is named Mei Ren as it is made from Wu Lang Mountain material in an area inhabited primarily by Yi minority people. So the Yi means the people, and the Mei Ren mean beauty. So we have these beauty people. Kind of like that idea of people being beautiful. So searching for similar teas in name anyway, I found that I had already done a tasting on Dong Fei Mei Ren, and that in Taiwanese, I guess, is Bai Hao, and it means Oriental beauty. So you see how The Mei Ren is in both of these teas, and it means beauty. That's fun to know. Oh, there's my photo. See, I stuck them in here. That's why I take photos. So I got it from Yunnan Sourcing. Today's date, it's a black tea. And I got this because I'm trying to learn what Osmanthus Flower is like. And also I wanted to learn about what these Dragon Balls are like. So I had to look up more. The last video I did focused more on the Osmanthus Flower. This one's focusing more on the Mei Ren. So I had it with the Tiaguan, I've forgotten the name of it. Let me go up. An oolong tea, which is Tiguanyen. I had it with the Tiguanyen, and I had already done a tasting of Tiguanyen, so I focused on the flower in that video. So if you want to watch that, you'll learn more about the flower. In this one, I'm focusing more on the Mei Ren to figure out what it is. And it is made in the Wulang Mountain, Yunnan, the Simeo, whatever that word is, district. From Wikipedia, I got this map. And so the pink area is down here is the Simeo district, and the yellow is the Pu'er prefecture within the Yunnan province of China. So you have here is the Simeo in the pink, and the yellow is the Pu'er prefecture of Yunnan. So if you go to this one, the yellow is also, this is the inset of this. So that's the Yunnan district, and the Pu'er prefecture. And then even smaller is the district of that. So I guess if you go back the other way, let me try to explain. This is China as a whole. See that dot? That's Simeon. It's in the light gray. The dark gray is China. The light gray is the Yunnan province. And so here's the light gray of the Yunnan province with the Pu'er prefecture. And inside the prefecture is the pink for the Simeo district. Got that? So what I thought was cool is that formerly both the Simeo, I don't know how to say that, Simeo and the Pu'er prefecture play a major role in the historic tea horse trade between Yunnan, Tibet, and India. So if you go back and read books and learn about the history of tea, you'll learn more about the tea horse trade. And so this district in the southern part is a starting point for the transport of tea by mule caravans north to Dale, Liwan, and Lasia. I don't know what that is. And also, the name of the city has changed to Pu'er City in 2007, not too long ago. So this is for processing. It's a fully oxidized tea, but then I also took some notes right off the website and put it in the processing part. I was wondering what a Dragon Ball was, because I see these often listed as flowering, blooming teas, and I was wondering if someday I'm going to get one of those. But you almost need a glass kettle or a glass teapot in order to brew those flowering ones, and I wondered if I was going to need one for this Dragon Ball. But after studying, I figured out that I think the flowering, blooming ones are meant to unfurl into flower shapes, and this one's not. So I can do this one just in a gaiwan. So from the website, the Dragon Balls are made by his wife's parents, and they make them in their spare time. they use little pieces of cotton to compress them rather than saran wrap. So apparently the most common way to do it is saran wrap, and they choose to use cotton, which is safer, because saran wrap compression is the most common method because it's faster, but it causes off-gassing into the tea, since the tea must be steamed to soften and is very hot. I kind of like that. I mean, because I'm all about health, and I know saran wrap is a form of plastic, and I'm trying to use less plastic because plastic is not healthy. I mean, even I've tossed all my plastic storage containers, and I've gotten mostly glass and porcelain stuff now. So, and apparently I need to look up maybe a video watching somebody actually make these balls. So apparently you have to steam it, and it gets very hot, and maybe the steaming is what causes them to go into a hard ball, stay together in a ball. It says Dragon balls are great. I don't know why they're called dragon balls. They're just balls. I never figured out why the dragon's in there. But they're perfect for single brew servings. Don't have to measure. And because the leaves fare much better during transport storage compared to loose, which tend to break apart and causing the brewed tea to be overly astringent and bitter. So, and he talks about how the profits are going to his wife's parents, and how they donate some money to the, I don't know what red packet and Chinese New Year have to do with anything, but they do get some of the money. So on the internet, Mei Ren is said to be spicy and brisk with a cinnamon chocolate caramel flavor. I never got the cinnamon part. So here's a picture of Mei Ren from the Yunnan Sourcing website, because you can buy this tea separately, just like that, as a loose leaf. And they say this tea is similar to an oolong and a black tea in fragrance and taste. Tea is wilted and fermented like black tea, but for a longer period of time and several intervals of vigorous shaking of the leaves. This promotes more thorough wilting and fermentation and leads to its darker color. So they suggest its chocolatey sweet taste with no astringency. Also from the website, under this particular Dragon Ball, it talks about how it's premium grade Osmanthus flowers and the Mei Ren needle black tea. So we saw that it is shaped more like a needle. Chocolatey, floral. I didn't get floral. I didn't get fruity. I didn't get that. Now that I'm going back and reading after I've been tasting it I have had about 5 steeps already or more while playing with my photos. Then we're just going to skip over this part. On the color spectrum, I put it as nutmeg. It does have a hint of red, so it's not the brown color, and it's not quite mahogany, so I went with the middle one, which is nutmeg. There's another cell phone photo where I took it out of the Gaiwan to get my traditional photo. And so aroma. When the dry in the ball, it was just a faint sense of smell, but I wasn't sure what it was. So I was looking through my categories for smell, and the one that kept jumping out at me was wooded. Wooded. I kept thinking it smelled like wooded, which is odd because sometimes I have trouble distinguishing between earthy and wooded, like dirt and freshly cut tree, I guess, or, and this one just kept saying wooded, like you're walking down a trail and you just smell the wood of the trees. And so when I smelled the wet, my first thought was just classic black tea aroma. But then I was like, this is supposed to be chocolate. So I like focused on what does chocolate taste like? And I just kept thinking. And I realized that, yes, it smelled like unsweetened chocolate bark. Certainly not sweetened chocolate bark, but like the unsweetened bars of chocolate that you use in baking. That's what it smelled like. And I was like, hey, I'm so glad I finally got that. And I might be able now that I recognize that, I may be able to translate that to other teas. That's what all this tea tasting is about, is I'm gradually learning as I'm identifying scents and smells. That's what makes it fun. So I may have already had some chocolatey teas and not gotten it, but now that I understand it, I may be able to identify it later. I don't smell Osmanthus Flower again, just like the other one. So hubby got the chocolate without me telling him first that it was supposed to be chocolate, so I kind of liked that. So here I am. This is me and my introverted self that likes to think a lot. So and I enjoy this part, the thinking and the analyzing. So since wooded kept jumping out at me, I had to see where chocolate came from, because bark would be wooded. You often hear about chocolate bark, and I had this tea from Oliver Pluff that would look like little actually barks, like the bark off a tree that was chocolate, and it really reminded me of this. So I wanted to investigate that more. So here's the chocolate is processed from the seeds of the cacao pods, which are the fruit of the cacao tree. The white flowers on the tree grow directly out of the bark. So I said, well, let me get a picture of these pods. So that's what they look like. They're kind of green. And I said, well, let's open them up. So I Googled, and here's a pod in half, and you can see the seeds inside. And there's another photo. I found two. They're quite different. That one's kind of dried and shriveled up. This one's still whole. So the seeds are ground for chocolate, but I suppose they could be sliced as bark. So then I, of course, Googled sliced. Sliced cacao beans, and I found them as well. So to me, it seems wooded, and I'm really silly for trying to figure out why cocoa beans make me think of wooded. I don't know, silly me. So body I have is medium, and so the body is how thick it feels in my mouth. Similar, I always think of, is it water on one end to orange juice with pulp on the other end, and this is like right in the middle. I do feel some weight to it. Astringency I have bright. The first steep wasn't, I don't think, a full flavor of this tea. So the second steep definitely was bright and light. I did pick up a lot more on the astringency. So it had astringency, and it was very tolerable. But it wasn't like no astringency like the direction, like the websites suggest. So I did in taste get sweet, which is unusual because I normally don't get sweet when they tell me they're sweet in a tea. And I did, I got sweet on this one. I did compare it a bit to the chocolate bark only tea that I had from Oliver Pluff. It was very much like that tea. Not quite. That one was more of a clear chocolate. This one was more of a heavy body chocolate. Medium body, as I wrote. The other one was like light, like really weird how it was like it was just light on the back of my tongue. The second steep was certainly different, and it had more bitterness, which is found in unsweetened chocolate bark. So I did get the bitter flavor out of it. And the more I tasted it and the more I thought about an unsweetened chocolate bar, the more I kept getting it and more it kept coming out to me. I still don't know what osmosis smells or tastes like. I'm just gonna have to buy that by itself. I bought both of these so I would know and learn what that was, and I don't get it. I don't get it. It seemed more to me for visual experience than smell and taste, because I greatly enjoyed watching the little flowers float around and you know, how they looked, the textures that I took on the photos of the tea ball. I did try it with a little sugar to see if it would change the layers of flavor, but it just brought out the bitterness a bit more, and I don't like bitter. So I do not think I like it with sugar, which is good. I'm trying to drink tea without sugar. I do think this is kind of an important thing. That this is a good tea to learn how astringency and bitter taste are two different things. So a lot of people think astringency means bitterness, but they say it more means a drying of the mouth. So this tea has a bitter taste, but it does not have a bitter astringency. And I think that, yeah, this, if you're trying to figure out the difference between astringency and take the word bitter out of it, and see how bitter is in taste, this is the tea for that. I think I learned about that while drinking this. I got finish. I've got lingering and aromatic, because that bitterness, like chocolate, unsweetened chocolate, kind of lingered. I would buy it again. I'm not sure I like the bitter part of the chocolate, but I would buy it again just because I love the fun of it, and I think hubby likes the chocolate. The tea ball cost me $1.70 for one steeping experience, but I got many steeps. In fact, I'm still steeping. I'm on 5 and I'm still going. And so I got a whole morning of enjoyment and fun. So it's worth the price. And, you know, if I think I dropped my photo in there and messed up the rest of my sentence there. But if you were getting a tea at a local tea, like a little cafeteria or something, it might cost more than $1.70. And this, I got a whole morning of fun, and I dropped my photos in here. And there's the end of my sentence. So I hope you enjoyed learning about this and experiencing this as much as I did, because this was quite fun.